Hello, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. Good evening, gracious Oni. Femi Clef, good evening. Labzi Lawal, good evening. I can see a lot of people joining in tonight because we have a distinguished personality. Lexi Greens, Gisom, good evening. Hello. Safuye, glad to have you. Glad to have you. Glad to have everyone coming in. I can see Jicole joining. Looking forward to an insightful moment tonight also, gracious Oni. Wow. Mark JC, good evening. Shegun Adebayo, that's my person. Thanks for coming in and thanks for joining in. We will be having a very distinguished personality here tonight. Someone that I'm so happy to be speaking with. Distinguished personality in music, especially the aspect of gospel music that a good number of us have come to really admire, and that's instrumental music. His own specialty, especially, is that of saxophone. I'm talking about Beejay sax. In a moment, we'll be having him join us, and it will be an opportunity for us to rub mind about the music business. Palace House Studio, good evening. Good evening, Blessing. I can see Sheson Obaseki joining in right now. Tonight, we'll be talking about music business. And we have a distinguished personality here that we want to rub minds with. We want to ask a few questions about music business with specific reference to instrumental music in Nigeria. Shegun Fumi is around. I want to say a big welcome. We are still expecting Beejay Sax to join us. I believe he will join us very shortly. Victor Starr, thanks for coming in, for joining in. I believe it's going to be worth the while because some of the things we'll be discussing tonight will be things that have to do with the gospel music business. Beejay Sax has just joined, and I believe very shortly he will. Beejay Sax is in the building, and we're so happy to have him join us.
Hello.
At this auspicious moment. Hey, Beejay Sax.
How you doing, sir?
I'm great, and you too.
Thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure being here, sir.
Wow. It's a pleasure to have you on the music business. And I'm sure that the whole house is agog right now because we know that you have a great, strong level of following in this music thing. But by way of introduction, I'll need to tell people who Beejay Sax is if they don't know who you are. So I have just a short bio of you. A lot of people will know right now that your real name is David Abolaji Bajoko.
Oh, yes.
And you're one of the most gifted, which we all agree, and captivating musician who has carved a niche for himself through ministering with his sax. He's a mechanical engineer graduate turned saxophonist of Olabisi Onabanjo University, a professional musician with strong ethics who decided to go into full-time ministry. And then, of course, in 2000, you joined the Redeemed Christian Church of God, released your first album, and your style ranges from gospel, traditional jazz to traditional African genre. Such a wonderful journey. Now, I want you to I want you to let us into how the journey actually started. Let's start from the very beginning.
The very, very
Who,
beginning.
who, yes, and it's a very good way to start.
Oh, yes,
Who is
fantastic.
Beejay Sachs?
Well, Beejay Sachs is a very gentle young man. When people say young, young is relative. What is young to
Exactly.
Mr. A might not be young to Mr. B.
Exactly.
You find out that the older people want to reduce their age and the younger people want to add to their age.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm a husband, father, lover of God,
Beautiful.
lover of music business,
Beautiful.
because this is what I
Beautiful.
do for a living, and I want to be able to put food on the table for myself and my family while doing this.
Mm-hmm.
I want to have a future in this, so the business
Hmm.
aspect of the music is very, very important. Now,
Wow.
I started playing. I came into music when I was in secondary school. I got into secondary school at 1998. I started music 2 years
Hmm.
after, a year or 2 years after. That's 2000. When we're in secondary school, and I was fortunate to attend a school that had a music that was strong in music. So at that time I was very small and tiny, as people would say. I was very. I didn't really have. Most of my mates were bigger than me, in quotes. So at that time, because of my size, people used to say that people that are not big cannot play the wind instrument.
Hmm.
You understand? So they felt, oh,
Mm-hmm.
for you to play the wind instrument, you have to be tall and fat, and I was very tiny. So I was like, man, these
Hmm.
people, they don't know what they're saying. And for some reason or the other, a discussion that sounded like a joke is what has brought me to where I am today. So as a young boy, I was in
Hmm.
GSS2, or yeah, thereabouts at that time.
Hmm.
Um, so they said all that, and I said, no, it's not possible. I started playing the trumpet. That
Hmm.
was my first instrument. So they said it wasn't possible, and I was like, no, with God, all things are possible. And me, I was
Amen.
very restless, and I won't use the word stubborn. But I don't like when people say things cannot happen because of something,
Hmm.
or those, or you want to bully me because you're big. So that's how I found myself learning the trumpet. I played the trumpet. Fortunately for me, in few months, I became the lead trumpeter in the school
Wow.
at GS2. I had people in SS1,
Hmm.
SS2, SS3. At that time, God gave me grace to get better than
Hmm.
over time. So that was in GSS2. I was playing the trumpet. Of course, a lot of people were playing the saxophone too at that time. And my teachers didn't want me to switch to the saxophone because they felt if I left the trumpet session would lack.
Hmm.
So they didn't allow me play the sax. But when I was learning the sax. I just put my eyes on it one way or the other. One way or the other, when my what's it called? Sorry, just a minute. I need to put my phone on flight mode so
Okay.
that call would distract us.
Okay. Okay. No problem. No problem. He'll be with us in a minute. He's trying to put his phone on flight mode. I guess he's back now. Okay.
Yes,
Okay. Yeah, I can hear you.
sorry.
Yes. So
The
go
call.
ahead.
I wanted to put my phone on flight mode. So yeah,
No
so in
problem.
PS3, at that time, our lead saxophonist wasn't around, and we had a competition in school. Then I was in GSS3. Our lead saxophonist was in SS2 or 3. I can't really remember at that time. We had a competition, and they needed someone to lead. My teachers didn't know I've been secretly learning the saxophone.
Hmm.
So I told them that they shouldn't worry, that I will take it. Because it was the lead saxophonist that was meant to lead the band. And they didn't want to agree. The owners of the school, everybody just felt, oh, I was good at my session. I was leading the session and all that. So one way or the other, they gave me a chance. And to the glory of God, we came first at that competition. And that's how the old students, teachers, the owners of the school made me switch to the saxophone. So that's how I became a professional saxophonist. The rest is
Yeah, I
a
was.
long story. I can keep following the story till when the music itself started. At that time, it was just playing in school, playing national anthem, playing at the assembly. It was just a joke, it wasn't anything serious. So I got into the university. At that time, of course, I'd left the saxophone for the school. I didn't have a saxophone of my own. You understand? I didn't have a saxophone of my own. The sax was for the school. So for like a year, or for like 6 months, I wasn't doing music at all. Because that time I was struggling with getting into the university. Olabisi Onabanjo University. I was good in maths and physics and all those things. So everybody just felt this guy had to become an engineer. So I got into Olabisi Onabanjo University to study mechanical engineering. But while at it was when I would say the career part of it really started. Because there and then I had to play at school campuses. I had to come home to Lagos. The normal musician life. At that time we needed extra funds aside the ones we were getting at home. So we needed to make some things for ourselves. You know how student life can be. Aside your pocket money,
Exactly.
you want to be innovative. You want to make extra income. As a man, to be independent. So that is where Beejay started. So,
Wow.
And the rest is history, really.
Oh, well, I wanted to ask what really endeared you to the saxophone. I mean, you saw all other instruments.
Yes.
You started with the trumpet.
Yes.
But you ended with the saxophone. What was unique about your choice of the saxophone?
I've always dreamt of being a saxophonist, but I didn't just know it was going to come like that. The sound, I like the tone. I like the fact that it's a wind instrument. It appeals to the soul. It appeals to the soul, and so many things. I just love the saxophone, really.
Okay. I have a testimonial that one of your teachers in the secondary school gave about you. His name is Victor James. I hope you. I hope you know him.
It was my Greek teacher.
Now he says Beejay Sax is a dedicated young man who stayed true to his calling right from the secondary school age till now. He always manifested the ability to do great things in music from his days at Caleb Secondary School.
Yes.
I am happy it is paying off now for him. Let me ask you the question. Is it paying off for you?
Well, to the glory of God, yes, it is. But it wasn't a very, very smooth journey.
Wow.
But to the glory of God, it is really, really, really paying off. It is really paying off. Everything is about strategy, And education really is not just about what you learn. It will affect how you do things generally. You understand? It will affect how you apply.
Exactly.
It will affect how you relate with people. It will affect how you run your business. To the glory of God, it will affect how things work. I never thought I was going to be a musician. Honestly, I never thought it was. But as at the time I was at the university, I had built, to the glory of God, I had built Beejay Sax. God has helped me build Beejay Sax to a level that it was paying off already. So I just had to continue in that part. At some point, I looked for a job. I got the job at an airline company as an engineer. And I just worked for 2 days because I knew that wasn't for me. I knew that wasn't for me, So, education, and of course, with the help of God, one of the things that would help channel out the business part how to be futuristic about the music itself. You understand? How to sustain it. You understand? In the next 30 years, in the next 40 years, what's going to happen? How will things be? You understand? How does one climb to the legendary status and stay there? You understand? How does one leave a legacy? Even in music, for the people coming behind. You understand? How does one create new things? You know, how does one create a market that does not exist?
A market that does not exist.
Yes.
And Beejay Sax, which is a brand right now, has been able to carve a niche for itself in that market.
Yes.
You talked about strategy, and there are a lot of people that are right now listening to you who have carved the name that you also have. Something Sax, Fumi Sax, Femi Sax, Albert Sax, Sax this, Sax that. They are trying to carve a branch or a brand in that market. And you talked about strategy. What strategy did you use that actually worked for you?
Okay, first, there are some principles. Either you're a musician or not, it works. You understand?
Okay.
When you sow, you reap. You understand? So, generally in business, when you start something new, something unique, when you are able to meet a demand, or when you're able to solve a problem, and
solving a problem.
Yes. And you first realize the problem, then solve the problem. And then you see what you can do differently. Yes, I know a lot of people want to be like Beejay Sax, you know, and a lot of people see, which is great. But there's time for everything. There's a time for you to want to be like Beejay Sax. There's a time you want Beejay Sax to inspire you. But there's a time that you have to grow and be yourself.
Okay.
You understand? If you're a second Beejay Sax, you can never be Beejay Sax. You understand? So when I talk about problem, or identifying a problem, or recognizing a problem, or solving a problem, it's about looking at, for example, when we started, I saw what a lot of my seniors were doing, you know, and I sat down and I thought, okay, there is this side that is lacking.
Who were your mentors, really? That you talked about your seniors.
Yes.
Okay.
I had Kunle Ajayi, I had Krekwalom. I love Krekwalom a lot. I love Mike Aremo, I love Segun Layomi, and there are a lot of them. You understand? So I felt, what could I do differently? What could I do that has not been done before? You understand? I play gospel music. I realized that, you know, a lot of people want to have their parties, a lot of people want to have their events, and there's really no band in the forefront that is playing strictly gospel music. Most gospel music bands are bands that would have like a lead singer. You understand? And the impression people have about sax is, oh, saxophone is instrumental, maybe when you want to sleep. You understand? Or when you want soulful music, you know, or you want to play worship, or when you want to, you know, a lot of people just felt that, oh, you have a wedding, you have a birthday, a saxophonist cannot hold the party. You understand? So I sat down and I thought, okay, I can actually do this. Saxophone is a jazz instrument. And what is jazz? Jazz is like the heavy use of instruments. You understand? But the style of music can be different. So I came with gospel traditional jazz, where yes, we are using instruments heavily, but you can still dance and not even feel that it's a saxophonist that is leading you. So when that started, people were amazed. That
Okay.
okay, a saxophonist can actually hold a party from the beginning to the end without a dull moment.
Wow.
It was unique. People haven't seen that before. What my seniors were doing were worship, praise and worship church. Maybe you minister and leave. You understand? A lot of jazz and all those things. But I thought, okay, why don't you have a band like, a band like a normal gospel singing band, led by a saxophonist with a lot of arrangements and rehearsal and percussions without any dull moment. And of course, I have my movable mic. I move around, minister to people. It was, when we started, it was quite unique. And people really came in for it. And, people really loved it. And
Okay.
from there, okay.
So somebody was saying that he wanted to know how you were able to sustain your brand, and I guess these were some of the things you used to really sustain your brand, adding unique things that
Yes.
was novel to the industry.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. So, of course, over the years, one has to reinvent, re-strategize, improve in all aspects of music. Can you hear me, sir?
So people are really asking questions, and I do not want to take it up. Sorry if you don't mind, sir.
Yes, sir.
If I read those questions, Bolaji Ogunwo is asking, considering your musical performances at the isolation center recently, what's your perspective on music as a therapeutic antidote in times like this?
You see, music is the food of the soul. You understand? It heals. Aside the isolation center, there are a lot of things that we'll be doing. We do online praise, and people join in and watch from all over the world. You understand? With a few of my friends, over time, we do. And honestly, there are testimonies of people that slipped out of depression as a result of what we're doing. You understand? So when we went to the isolation center that was about a month ago, people were elated. The health workers, they felt pumped, they felt motivated. You understand? And that is what music can do, if properly done the right way.
Somebody is asking, is it true that a woman who wants to conceive should not play saxophone or trumpet? Will it hinder them in any way?
There is no health hazard in blowing any wind instruments. I would say, this is what I always tell someone. I've been playing the sax for almost 20 years now, maybe about 17 years plus. I know I'm not a woman, but I know women that are into this too and are totally fine. But there's something I always say. If you talk too much, you lose your voice.
Exactly.
In everything, there's moderation, there's a technique. If you don't know the technique, if you don't know how to drive and you drive a car, you have an accident. You understand? If you sleep too much, it's a problem. If you don't sleep at all, it's a problem. So I'm using that example for saxophone too. You understand? If you play the wrong way, or you overplay, or you overdo things, then there will be a problem. You understand? There will be a problem. So everything must be done in moderation. Even this live chat that we have is just for 1 hour. After 1 hour, Instagram will cut us off.
Exactly.
So there are rules and regulations to these things. Once things are done properly and in moderation, there is no side effect at all. So
one thing I try to appreciate about your person,
yes, sir,
is your humility. And anytime I see you every month play at the Holy Ghost camp, I ask myself, when will something just budge into this man's head and then make him feel he has arrived and then just burst out and start living without recourse to some of his colleagues right there? And I see that quite intriguing.
Yes,
Uh,
thank you, sir.
what don't you think that's one of the secrets to your success as a person?
For me, I have it's God that gave me this gift, and I feel that, of course, He deserves all the praise. I'm going to use it for Him in every way and any way. There are times where I have to travel anywhere I am in the world.
Mm.
Once it's first Friday of the month, you find me at the Holy Ghost service. I can tell you that one for free. There are times where I had to connect crazy flights. Sometimes I have to get on a bike, even if there's traffic. It's my personal covenant with God, and God has been blessing me. Really, I'm not an artist. I play with the band at the camp, and that is fine because it's an opportunity for me to serve. And service is very, 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 very important. A lot of people don't want to serve. They just want to go. They don't want to follow through the process. They just want to be superstars. And it's so easy these days, including myself. We just put sax at the back of our name. And once you put sax at the back of your name, that is it. So, but of course, as I said, it's an opportunity for me to serve. And of course, when you serve God, God will bless you. That's certain.
Now, you mentioned the work of an artist and then a gospel minister. Now, can you give us a distinction between who an artist really is and who a minister is?
To the best of my knowledge, I will say this in my own way. Gospel and being a minister is about the message that you are passing across. You understand? So it means that if you are not passing a message across, what distinguishes a minister from an artist is the message.
Okay.
That you are passing across. You understand? So I tell people that you can play jazz, you can play funk, you can play pop. Those are styles of music. But what is the message in that music, in that style? You can play apala, but what are you telling the people? What message are you passing across? So no matter the style of music that you're playing, the message is what makes it gospel or not. And of course, if you're playing gospel, you're a minister.
Okay. Now, two people have given credence to your testimony. YMC says he doesn't miss the Holy Ghost service. In fact, RYD Messenger said, I have seen you on a bike going for Holy Ghost service several times.
Yeah.
That is beautiful. But somebody is asking a question, though.
All right.
And it says, can you be invited without collecting anything? Duchess Funaya says, can you be invited to a church or to any gathering without collecting anything?
Now, this is a very delicate matter, and I'm going to say it to the best of my knowledge. This is what I do for a living. I have a family. Of course,
Exactly.
because we're in ministry, we say God will take care of us and all those things. And but what works for everybody is different.
Exactly.
At the same time, they are generally acceptable. There are things that are standard. You understand? There are standards. Yeah. So let me tell you the way it works for me. If it's a church and I'm led to build, I will. If it's a church and I'm led to just go and The fact that I entered my car and I drove to the church with my band without having any prior agreement means that I'm led to go. So anything that happens, I'll take it. I'm the one that brought it upon myself.
Exactly.
If I feel, okay, what do you have for us? You understand? Or what, we discuss, and that's for church. But if it's anything outside the church, I have an invoice. And the invoice is quite large.
You
understand?
How expensive are you?
I won't want to say that here, but it's a very large invoice.
Okay, I understand. It's business, it's music business.
Yes.
So
really.
somebody's. So
it's
somebody said.
Okay. I'm listening.
No. You can go. You can finish your thought. You
It's
said it's music business.
And I said something. When I talk about being premium. It's a way that I've managed my business and my brand. You understand? Premium at the social level. You understand? And when something is premium, you don't find it everywhere.
Exactly.
And the premium also comes in my delivery, in my dressing, in the way I carry myself, and everything. It's a complete package. Yes.
So I agree with you. The Bible says that they that preach the gospel must live of the gospel. The Beejay brand has to be sustained with money, not just by word of mouth. Now, there's one.
You don't expect me to come to London and travel all that, or travel to America, and then I come back and then you give me God bless you.
God bless you.
God will bless us, but you bless our pocket.
Exactly. Somebody is saying, Ore Sachs. He says, Daddy Beejay, you are the inspiration behind my playing as a genius. Now, and that's a very good testimony that you can have people that are looking up to you for inspiration. What further plans do you have? What mentorship program do you have for young ones who are taking after you? Because you see, this one now is Ore Sachs. And then later you will have Lide Sachs. You also have Duchi Sachs.
Yes, sir.
I have what plan? And everybody. Everybody wants to be a Sachs.
It's fine. It's totally good. You see, first, I have a lot of things that I'm planning about mentorship and all those things. But most importantly, there's nothing as good as your lifestyle speaking volume, even from afar. How many people can I put together? There are thousands of saxophonists in Nigeria, to the glory of God. Sorry, Auntie Kemi, Auntie Kevolala, I see you. That's my big cousin.
Okay, that's great.
So I'm just giving her a shout out. So there's nothing as good as your life speaking volume in itself. Yes, there will be time for personal mentorship and all those things. We're working on that. But what I try to do is live a lifestyle and be an example to musicians, either in saxophone or in any other sector. I'll give you an example. We made a joke, a couple of friends and myself. I saw a question. I'm going to take it after. We made a joke. A couple of friends. Sorry. Oh, I've seen another one too. They said my hair and my beard are too much. Why are you keeping it? The Bible says that. I'll answer that one too. So a couple of my friends were discussing. We were talking about mentorship and and all these things. and we made a joke that I'm married now with 2 babies to the glory of God. But that time before we got married, we make a joke that, okay, when our wives take us to their parents and they ask that, oh, this person you want to marry, what does he do for a living? And then we imagine, of course, the lady will say, oh, he's a musician. The next question will be in Yoruba, Orin wo lo ko? Like, what song? If you say someone is a musician, at least you will have. You understand? And then, so we said it at that time that by the grace of God, when that time comes, we won't have to introduce ourselves. We won't have to introduce ourselves. And to the glory of God, of course, before I went to my wife's house, they knew me already. So I didn't have to do any introduction. I didn't have to answer questions. Now, at some point too, we look at so many other things. Why are we doing what we're doing? You understand? Why are we? Some people are in music for money. Some people are in music for impact. You understand? But there's no way you can make impact without making money. You understand? If your music is really making impact, then you would make money. You understand? So those are the kind of things that we really want people to see, that musicians are not poor people. You can be a musician and be rich. You can be a musician and have houses. You can be a musician and travel all over the world. You understand? We want to be able to inspire people and let them know that these things are possible by our lifestyle, by being a good role model, driving the best cars, living in the best houses, you understand, and living the life. Gone are those days that people feel that musicians have to suffer. You understand? Musicians have no future and all those things. So some of us have to live the lives and let people know that these things are possible. You understand? And there's no form of mentorship that I feel is better than that. When people see you and they feel they have hope. When people see you, they see that things are possible. You understand? When people see you, they see that everything is possible. So that is it about mentorship.
Okay, how about the beards? Somebody says your beards are. Kane Saxton says, but I guess he's just trying to.
So it's not as if I have to answer, but I'll answer because we're here. I'm at home and we're locked down. I'm not going anywhere, so that's why. But guess what? The beards will still be there. Maybe not this much. Or it's an hairstyle. Really, I like my hair with afro.
It's your compliment now.
If you like to skin your hair, you can. You understand? Anything you want to do. In the days of old, the days of Moses, they used to have plenty beards.
They had ears, yes. Plenty,
yeah, so totally fine. Whatever works for you, stick to it.
Exactly. Somebody says, with all your tight schedule, do you really have time to rehearse personally? Can you, take us through your rehearsal procedures?
So what I do is I do routine rehearsal.
Okay.
What I call routine rehearsal is that I know I'm going to be busy. So I take maybe 2 hours every day for a month or for 2 weeks as my schedule permits to sharpen up any area that I know that is really lacking. You understand? And I'm intentional about what I want to learn and my growth process. But most importantly, I play sax every day. I'm not talking about rehearsal. I have a program every other day. And anything you do regularly, anything you do frequently, you get better at it over time. Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, so I can hear you.
I have a program or the other almost every day. Maybe in 7 days, maybe it's 2 days that I probably don't have a program. So it means that I'm playing the sax every day. And as I'm playing the sax every day, I'm discovering new things. I'm getting better at it. You understand? So my rehearsal are for things that I'm deliberate about. I know that I need to sharpen up this particular aspect.
When I saw you play at the what do we call it, the isolation center, I was thinking in my mind, what could be going on in the mind of Beejay Sax right now as he's playing? What exactly was going on in your mind when you were ministering to these people?
You know, we had so many things.
Wow. Well, Beejay Sax has, I guess, we lost him right now. The connection is off, but I believe he'll come back again. Yeah, he's coming back again. So let's see if we could connect with him, because we really have been wonderful, wonderful discussion with him. We want to know exactly what his lines of thoughts were about the people who had the virus and were placed at the isolation center. We are waiting for Beejay Sax, and we do hope he'll join us soon to, connect with some of the questions that we are asking. But of course, we do know that when we talk about the issue of ministering to people, we need money. And so when you say Beejay Sax charges, you need to ask yourself, what value is he giving to some of the things that he is, churning out to the public? What value? If it's great value, then we need to pay for that. But of course, there are other times when you will need to have him perform. Okay.
Oh yes, I'm back.
Okay. So I was asking what your thoughts were when you were,
Honestly, we had mixed feelings. It wasn't funny at all. Okay, so there's this thing we've been doing. As I said earlier, we do online praise. We call it online praise party, and the idea was to give back to the society. Minister to the people, especially at this period where at that time we were all locked down. Nobody was going out. Nobody knew anything.
Exactly.
So after one of those sessions, I got a call from the governor's office that, it's Easter, and they have it's Easter, and they're thinking of we doing that kind of thing at the isolation center. I called my friend and brother Laulu Benjo. We had the online praise party together at that session, and okay, we didn't know what we were in for. We just thought maybe the governor wants to celebrate Easter. And they sent us the venue. It was Yaba isolation. What was going on? Yaba. In fact, when we were leaving, I did tell my wife where I was going. Because you know what it feels like going to the middle of the center of the virus itself. So even when we were driving, myself and Laulu, my friend, we drove in my car. We were still gisting and all those things. But when we got to the entrance, we saw that this is serious. This is actually serious. We saw everybody wearing protective jackets and all those things.
Yes, jackets.
We had to sanitize like 50 times. That's an exaggeration. But before we got in, we had to sanitize, and then there is rule, don't touch. Hey, my friend Laulu, Me, I was still trying to hold it inside me. We didn't talk about it. But you know, when you are both scared and nobody's talking, my friend loudly just said, "Ha, Jesus will be happy by you. Hey, what's going on here? Are we safe?" And that was when I was able to let out my own fear to be, hey, this is serious. So God help us. But more than anything, of course, we knew that the people that called us to do what we wanted to do, if we weren't safe, they wouldn't have called us. And we knew that our music, would bring healing and be therapeutic to the people.
And it was.
And it was really. And there wasn't a plan to do 2 venues. But when we did the first one at Yaba and we saw the results, the government had to tell us that, we have to take this same thing to the Onikon Center, there and then. And in all this, I felt privileged, to be used to bring about that form of healing, that form of therapeutic healing at that kind of time. It could have been anybody. It's the grace of God that singled us out to be called.
Let me tell you what actually I had. I mean, I felt when I saw your picture. It was your picture I saw at first before reading through the headlines. The moment I just saw the picture and I saw you with those people, I said, Beejay Sasiko virus. But it was later I now read the capture and I said, he just went there to perform, and maybe I said, okay, thank God. But anyway, it's a good thing that we can have this ministry and outreach to people that are actually in need, especially during the lockdown. And I guess it was a very special thing for you when you were doing that.
It was very special. I felt useful. I felt the usefulness of the gift that God has given to me. You understand? I felt the impact. I felt privileged to be in that space at that particular time, seeing smiles on the faces of the health workers. The patients joined us from their rooms, from their wards, or I don't know what it's called, but the health workers came out. They've been in the front line of this whole pandemic. You understand? They had to leave their families, their lives are at risk. So I felt really privileged being chosen to bring hope and joy to them, to be able to do their jobs better, to be able to save lives better. You understand? So, and you saw them dancing, they were so excited to see us. In fact,
they were.
We didn't announce, there was no announcement that, Beejay Sax is coming, or everybody know. So what happened was the sound system was set. We just started the music and they jumped out.
Wow.
From their different corners. And it was awesome.
Now, Itudu is saying, how do you strike a balance between developing talents for the work of God in the church and training church folks as part of your business outfit?
Yeah, I mentioned it earlier that there's something we're working on. Training is coming up very, 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 very soon by God's grace. I'm trying to reach out to the younger generation of saxophonists coming
When are you starting your own music school?
Very, very soon, by the grace of God.
Beautiful.
Anybody that knows me knows that anything I do, I don't do things shabbily. Once I want to do anything I want to do, I do it big. I do it. It has to be the best. If it's not the best, I won't do it. You understand? All to the glory of God. Our concerts, our sound, everything that we do. We have a concert that we do. Probably should have been doing another one this year, but we couldn't because of course, the pandemic. We have a concert at the hotel every year, and people pay, to come. We go all out, excellence in everything that we do. You understand? So if the music, my team and I were putting together something to create a music academy, and we want it to be the best of the best. That's why it's taking time. So once it's ready, you would know.
Let me ask you, apart from your having to minister at the isolation center, how was music business during the lockdown period for you?
Well, I'll say I'm one of the privileged and favored musicians that was able to make one or two things even at this period. Fortunately for me, I have a standard studio at home. You know, a standard studio with all the equipment and sound mixers, digital mixers, and everything. So we still minister to the people, even from home. Some people make a joke that maybe I saw the pandemic coming, that I seemed so prepared. You know, before it came, I have cameras, so we minister to people for we minister to people from home via Zoom, via YouTube, or in all social media, and people actually bless us and pay for it. Yeah.
Wow. So now that the pandemic has changed the way we do our lives now with the isolation and the social distancing, what projection do you see with the music industry?
Well, we are one of the most hit.
Yes.
Why? Because we make our money from people, crowd. You understand? And it means that there are spaces that we probably didn't pay attention to earlier that we have to pay attention to now, which is everything happening online, social media.
Exactly.
You know, I don't know if you've been doing this before, but you know, a lot of these interviews, you know, have been brought from the pandemic. So people have live shows online.
Exactly. In fact, let me tell you the truth. This segment of music business started during the pandemic period, and
So
we've been leveraging on that.
It's about innovation and people, you know, making do of taking advantage of whatever it is that's happening around now. You understand? So a lot of great things are happening. I can be sure that as we are speaking now, a lot of people are being blessed. You understand, by this initiative that, you know, God has used you to start. You know, so we don't know when they are going to. We make a joke that we don't know when they are going to open the outside. It's just a funny joke that we don't know when we're going to start living life the way it is, when we can attend our parties, attend our services, you know. But we're hopeful, you know. People have projections. Some people say September, some people say we're going to gradually ease into it. But in all these things, safety is first, you know. Is whoever is alive that can do business. And coronavirus is actually real. A lot of people, some people still feel that there's no coronavirus anywhere. There's coronavirus. I was there live and direct, you know, and I saw things by myself, you know. So maybe in 2 months, in 3 months, we all pray that things get better. You know, we pray that everything fades away as soon as possible. But it also means that while we are waiting for that to happen, we all have to be innovative.
Exactly.
We all have to create things. You know, we all have to think outside the box. Now things are happening on Zoom app, churches, services. You know, this period has opened my eyes to a lot of things. A lot of things. People have birthdays in America and we're playing from here in Nigeria and they're dancing and praising God with us. You know, a lot of things are happening. Yes, online. And it just feels like we're in their homes, you know. Tech facilities to improve, you know, to improve the sound system and all those things, you know. Yes, some people will be affected, but music technology too will rise. You know, so I just feel we need to position ourselves, you know, YouTube monetization, selling music on iTunes, and so many of all those things. You know, so while we wait for the whole thing to go away.
Well, it's a prayer that it does go away.
Amen.
It may not be sooner than we expect, but just like you said, while we pray and then believe God for the vaccine that will solve the problem, we should also, be innovative. Uh,
Yes.
I want your parting shot to that child or that young man or woman listening to you right now and who says, I want to be like BJ Sachs.
Okay. Young man, young woman, child, old man, old woman, whoever you are, wherever you are, it can be anybody. God's time is the best. Um, Rome wasn't built in a day. There's a process.
Hmm.
Um, the process for Mr. A is different from process for Mr. B. Is different from the process for Mr. Y. Of course, we all
Hmm.
just pray that things happen fast. But with time, everybody will be fine.
Hmm.
So follow the process.
Hmm.
Some learn sax today and they put sax at the back of their name tomorrow.
Hmm.
But there's a process. You understand? I've been playing sax for almost 20 years, as I said earlier, to the glory of God. But the funny thing is that for some people, what it took me 20 years to achieve might take them 2 years or 2 months. But I won't, because of that, start thinking, in a very funny way, because the person's process is different from my own process. You understand? Also, with God, all things are possible.
It's possible.
When I say all, like all things. I started learning, when I started learning sax, I was very tiny. People thought I was going to faint. I will share pictures. People think if you're not big or you need to be big to play the saxophone, or you need, everything is possible. You understand? Also, there's something I always say: whatever you're unfinding to do,
With
just
God.
put your best at it. Put your best at it. And that's one of the things that God has used to help me. I know our time is fast spent. I'm rounding
Yes,
up now.
fast. Yes.
So just make sure that you put your best at everything. You don't want to regret an opportunity that you didn't utilize well, you know. And with God, all things are possible. Thank you very much for
Amen.
having me.
I want to say a very big thank you. And we do hope also that when the school reopens, we'll be able to have you in Unilag to deliver a master class or two at our department. And that would be a very wonderful opportunity for us at least to
That
have
word
the
master class
face-to-face.
is quite scary. Master what? Master class? Oh no.
Master class, yes, master class is from the masters, and you're a master now,
Oh,
aren't you?
no problem. No problem. No problem.
What a
I'll
wonderful
I'll
night
just a
it
phone call
was.
away by God's grace. Thank you very much.
Wow, what a wonderful night. Thank you very much. God bless you for this wonderful
Amen.
opportunity. God bless you,
Amen.
everyone, and good night.
All right. Bye. Thank you for joining us. Good night.
Bye bye.